Okay, great. So welcome to the call today, Tuesday, 19 October. Good to have you with us. Okay, so those working with the DTB system, we're focusing primarily on these calls with the analytical strategy, which is the one where we do an optimization of A and B settings and we apply them for a period of time, for the session that we're on. There is going to be a new update to this analytical strategy, which is going to be doing automatic optimizations for all different periods of the day. So I'm trying to create a strategy situation where we're optimizing a huge amount of data and then setting it up with all different A and B settings that it can trade throughout the day, all different times of the day. So something to look forward to in the very near future. All right, so the risks associated with futures trading, there'll be a link to that in the video as well. So let's have a look at what is happening over here. So I have set up I've just done some optimizations. I see it just finished, which is pretty good. So I did some optimizations and I used between an 8 and a 32 with an 8 baseline width in ticks. So basically the same optimizations that we've done before between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. And I'm using the trend 1 to 20, 1 to 40. So I'm going to save this. So I'll first look at the day of the week. Okay, so this looks good. So I'm going to actually apply this setting going forward today. It has a bit of a high drawdown. So let me just look at the one underneath it. It's a 32 bar, a little bit less on a Tuesday. That one is quite low, so I'm not going to go that bar. And let's have a look at the other one. So I might just stick with this top one. I'll stick with this top one and we'll run that one for the session. Okay, so I'm going to save this as a template. So template save. And this is going to be a 16.8. So I'm just going to make it very simple. I'm going to call it NQ16_8. Okay, and I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to bring up a chart. So new chart. And we'll pop that on there. So this is going to be the NQ. And I'm going to put none, and we're going to bring up a 16.8 chart on the analytical bars. So 16 and 8, and remember we're matching the optimizer, so we have to do that. Okay, so this 12th of September to today with break at end of day on. So bring that up, and then I'm going to go back into the data series. And for some reason, it kept it. Wow. Okay, great. Okay, and then go into my strategies. And I'm going to pop on the analytical bar strategy 1 with the template that I just created. So template load. And I called it NQ 16.8, I think it was. Yeah. 16.8 trading chart, perfect. And I'm going to load that up on my account that we're using. Apply. Okay, I'm looking at the accuracy and the profit. So on that, so looking at the drawdown, so you look at the drawdown, it's matching. So 2.6 drawdown with 15.299. So that's missing, that's matching exactly right. So I'm going to go and start this strategy and put that to the side. So that's the NQ. So that'll get going. It will basically act on the next signal. I don't have to go and look at the chart on this one because it is the numbers we're matching. We're matching fine. So I'll just keep it on the analysis. And we'll see how we go today. So historically on a Tuesday, it's done well with a 50% win rate. So let's see how that goes for today. Okay, so I'm also doing one on the YM. So this is it's a bit of an odd one on the YM. I'm getting some trades at 10 a.m. Now, because the strategy works on bar close, I still don't understand why I'm getting trades at 10 a.m. I know they could start anywhere in that period, but a bar has to basically close for the strategy to exit. And it shouldn't really be entering positions. Okay, so that one ended exactly at 10 o'clock. I'm just going to page back and see if I can look at previous days. What happened over here? Outside trading hours, 9:59, 10 o'clock. So that one is fine. Previous time. Let's see what happened over here. Outside trading hours, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. So that one's matching too. Those are all 10. So I'm getting some here. Let's go to the trade section. Okay, so exit time, 10 o'clock, outside. So they're all mostly are closing at 10 o'clock. Why are some not closing at 10? Let's just have a look. At least that's what the optimizer was telling us. Oh, you know, they're closing at 10 exactly. So it's actually counting that as the next hour. That's what's happening. Okay, so it's me that's not reading it properly. So because it's closing off at 10 o'clock and it's closing after the 10 o'clock, it's recording it as that hour. Okay, so that's not a problem. I was seeing about 20-30 minutes in this earlier, and that's because I had a larger bar size. Okay, so that's not a problem. I'm going to just jump back over here and look at the days of the week. So day of week, and just look through these top results and just see if there's anything here that really grabs my attention. So 1-4, what is this? What is this first one doing? 2-6, 1,000. Okay. And not very high results on this, you know, the drawdown and the profit. So I'm not finding very good settings for the YM. This is the only one that is remotely decent. So we got 6,000 with the 1,100 drawdown. Are any of you guys working on the YM on any setting, or you guys only got the NQ and other instruments?
NQ for me, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, same. Okay.
All right. So I might just leave that YM. I mean, there's nothing fantastic there. I mean, we've got $1,000 worth of profits on a Tuesday. Okay. But it's not, I mean, there's a lot of trades and that's over 5 weeks. So, I mean, that's not very powerful actually. So I'm not going to bother with the YM today. I've got the NQ strategy that hasn't entered a position yet, so we'll just let that one go. That one will do its thing. So yesterday, had these settings been active, it actually only entered, if I look at the history from yesterday, only entered 2 positions. So it had 1 losing position and then 1 running position up until session close. So that's what happened yesterday on that one. So I'll just minimize that one again and just see what else we can actually find. I'll do another optimization on a different bar size so we can see what that looks like. So what I'll do is I will duplicate this in a new tab because I want to actually keep a record of this. It forces you to run it again. So while it's running, you just click on the abort and then that will stop it from running. Okay, and then I'm going to untick the box for data series. And I'll just stop the video. I forgot to do that. So I'll untick that, and then I'm going to just use the 16 bar size and see what results I'm getting on my side. So I'm going to run that. Should only be about 800. There we go. 800 iterations. So that'll be pretty quick. While that's running, I'll just do an update on the side here. For interest sakes, I was looking at the MES earlier, just for because obviously the price moves a lot slower, but we had some really good moves. So the nice thing about this indicator that we're using, this is the shadow trading with the ultimate bands. The ultimate bands are not really needed in this situation, but I've got the ATR analytical, which is the average true range indicator. These numbers that you're seeing on the chart are the ticks away from the average true range that the price currently is on that bar. Just a helpful number. And the shadow trading indicator is painting these bars, so the green for long and gold for sell. So a lot of the time you're actually going to get long moves in price, and these bars are going to be colored. So you really got the opportunity to take some long trades, long running trades, so that yeah, and it's just a really good setup to actually use. I'll move that back away. Okay, so this is finished. Okay, so 934s, we're getting some results, 3.6, slightly high max drawdowns. Now I haven't optimized the repaints. I've basically got them as true, true, false, and false. So when you go and optimize those, you're going to get a lot better results as well. In fact, if you just optimize the first two and leave the next three as false, you'll get some really good results too. So if I go optimize and leave those as false, we'll run this again and just see where that comes up as. And that's really, also very good to do if you've got stops and targets. So you can optimize any of the signals. It'll take, it'll give you the best results for any of the signals. And then because you've got your target in place, it'll get you in and out of the positions. I might actually do that. Let's pop that on another position. So I'm going to pop in a fixed target. So target ticks. I'm going to go true. Now, which bar size are we working with? 16. So let's go for a 32 tick target. So I always go in increments of the bar size. It just makes it simpler for me to work with. You don't have to do that. It's just I like to use increments of the bar size. So I'm going to use a 32 target. Okay, and then I'm going to run that. Okay, see what that comes up as. There's still no position on the NQ strategy that I got active. It's still waiting for its next signal. Any trades happening on your side yet, guys, or are we still just waiting for the major, for the open?
Mine hasn't taken a position just yet.
Okay.
Mine neither, Joe.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, same.
All right. Yeah, you're finding that obviously because it's analyzing 9 till 10, but it's really picking up the best settings for that period, and because there's so much action from 9:30, that's where it's grouping most of the trades in that period. So we could also experiment with optimizing from 9:30 onwards, but I like to set it up before the 9:30. Just give it a bit of time around it. Either way could actually work, but I'm happy to keep it from 9. I think it just gives it a little bit of a buffer before you've got some time to do your optimization and activate it. And sometimes you do get a trade before 9:30 as well. Depends how active the market is before they open. So while that's
Jason,
running, yes?
have you looked going till 10:15? Because it's still quite active after 10 for like that extra 15 minutes.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. Any period you want. So you can go from, you can go from 9:15 till 10, or 9 to 10:15, or 9:15 to 10:15 even. So you can definitely do that. No problem at all. Because very often at 10 o'clock, there's also a huge push in some direction and very active. So yeah, no stopping you doing that. Yeah, you're welcome to do that. You might even get some, extra trades between that 10 and 10:15. So that's the cool thing about the time slots in the strategy, is you can basically select any time slot that you want between any start time and end time to the minute, and it's going to only enter positions within that period and will exit as soon as the bar closes at the end of your time slots. And then you can even use 2 time slots. So if you want to optimize 2 different values, you could do that too. So even in your strategy analyzer, you can optimize 2 different time slots at the same time if you really wanted to. Ideally, you want to separate them though, because the market's going to be different for different times of the day. So if you put 2 time slots in there, it's going to give you the best settings for that, for those 2 time slots combined. And they might not be individually I think the results will be better than by doing them combined on the strategy analyzer. But the cool thing is you've got 2 different time slots. You can basically trade those settings if you want. Okay, so looking back at this 5-minute chart, we can see the price broke through the daily 50, went to a new high, the new for the hourly and the 5 minutes, came back down, bounced it off again, and then broke through, retested it briefly, and then came down. So that was a nice move earlier. Okay, so this is coming right to the end. Okay, so this is using a specific target in mind. Okay, so we got settings 4-7 with a 1-3, 78%. So this is where you're going to get the trades just entering and then hitting a target. And on Tuesday, we've got an 83% win rate. So I'm actually going to pop that on a separate chart on the same account. So I'm going to save this as a NQ 16 with 32 targets. Okay, so then I'm going to go and create that on another chart. So I'm going to put up another chart over here and make it the same data series. So 16 and a 16. Go to the strategies and pop that one onto it. I'm going to run it on the same account, and we'll see, we might have, we hope we don't have opposing signals at the same time. Hopefully not. If we do, the target will be in place anyway, so it will still work out. Okay, so NQ 16 with 32 targets. I'm going to pop it on the account. Enabled, apply. Okay, so we've got a 7-2 with a 1-3 Bam. Okay, so those are the two that I'm going to run for this session. Not going to bother too much about with the analyzer. Those results we see are pretty awesome on here. And we've got some good results. If you can filter through the rest. The top one just kind of gave us the best setting. Let me just see 2.8, 2.4. I also look around the consistency around the other days. This is also pretty good, but it's a low for the rest of the week. Okay, so I'll stick with those two. Okay, so let's remove this. And I'll put these two on the screen. Okay, so that should be good enough to see. Being a bit pedantic, but there we go. Okay, so I'll activate the chart traders as well. And I'll put it on the right account. So we're using the two. So it's a good way. It's good to do this, to go and choose your account that you're using. If you want to go and hide this, you can actually go and do that too. So you can go chart trader hidden. It'll still show you the entries. It's just going to hide that away, which will be good. All right, so we'll see how two strategies go on the same instrument. Okay, it's a bit of a waiting game now until the market opens. So the chart on the right has got a 32 tick target. I'll just change the side margin a little bit. We don't need to have such a big margin. Maybe even just a 60 will be fine. And I'll make it center price on scale so we can see the trades in the middle. I'll do the same over here. Okay. So two different bar sides we're working on. I'm actually in the process too of developing a different or an additional bar size, an additional bar type. So there's an average true range bar type that's around that someone has developed. So I'm basically going to be doing or copying a lot of that into a new bar type with a few little modifications. Basically going to be a similar type of a look to the analytical bars, like the trending and the flat baseline, but there's going to be varying ticks per bar. So it's going to be, it'll be quite exciting to see that, how that's going to perform with these strategies. So remember, we always use a 3 slippage when we're using the DTB bars, just so that the trades can plot accurately. So when you're comparing them to the analyzer, you're getting the same plotted positions on the analyzer as you would on a live chart. So it's also good to, after your session or even during your session, to run your optimizations to see if your trades, your live trades, are matching your current up to the minute optimization results. So on the 5-minute chart, looks like it wants to come back and retest this daily, the 50. So I'll just put that to the side. I won't load the fib levels on here because I just want to let it run the session. I'll just monitor it on another chart, and it's just because I want to have also as less indicators and things on this chart. I just want the strategy to run. So it's just a nice clean chart with very little on it. And I've also got very few tabs or few charts and things open. You're trying to have as less clutter as possible. And it's the same with the workspaces. You don't want to have, you only want to have the one workspace open and then an untitled one. So you can also clean up your workspaces by going in there. So a very good thing to do is go to your workspaces and I've actually saved this as Asian, it's okay. But just have very few details in there and only have, I've actually only got the one open too. So only one workspace open. It just helps the system not be overwhelmed. So a bit of housekeeping to keep NinjaTrader running as smoothly as possible. Two more minutes until we open. So on the right-hand chart, you'll notice that the buttons look a little bit different to the ones on the left. So if you're using a fixed target, it's going to remove that button for the trailing stop. So that's because it's a fixed target. So just a bit of cosmetic things I did there, depending on which options you're selecting. There wasn't anything in the way of news happening right at this stage. I think only at 10 o'clock we have some people speaking. Fed chairman, I think. I had a very quick look at that earlier. There's nothing impacting the time that we're going to be trading. So yeah, so I do have an economic news calendar. So if you go into the calendar, not the calendar, the indicator list, you're going to notice a DTB economic news thing over there. So I'll pop that on the 5-minute chart. And then that's going to show that. So there we go. We've got 10:30. What? Is that right? I thought there was something else. I'll pull that apart for now. Something doesn't look exactly right there. Okay, so normally at 9:30, we actually had a lot of signals happen at the open. But with these settings that we've got here, it looks like the previous signal was a long, so it hasn't generated an opposing signal since, but that could change at any minute. Yeah, okay, so nothing yet. Let's hope we don't have a completely underwhelming session where it does nothing. Not really had any direction yet from this. It kind of bounced up. No, it started over there, bounced up, come down. So it's just floating around one specific area. So nothing.
Yeah, mine hasn't taken a trade either yet, Jay.
Okay. Yeah, and some days you will notice that. So even if I look at this one over here, so I look at this strategy here, so strategy performance, and I look at all the previous history of it. You'll notice that it enters on average about 4.39 trades a day. So that's not a lot of trades, although it is only a very small period of time. So that is the history of the strategy. As you can see, only like 2 trades. So there, 14, 16. It didn't enter on the 15th of, and then entered 17, missed 18, 19. I'm not sure which of the weekends. We can go maybe from the bottom. So 18 that was yesterday. So that's Monday. That was Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So the previous week it actually entered positions. It actually had a really good day on the 12th. So 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23. So it looks like most days it has entered positions, but not a lot of positions. So you can see that just by the history of this, it's not entered a substantial amount of positions. It's only a few days, but it entered, like this one here, entered a lot of positions. Seems like just a lower value of trades. So that's that one. we'll look at this one too. So if I go strategy performance, so this one as well, only about 4.88 trades per day. The analysis of it, it also had a nice rise. It's had a very nice rise from a low. And there, so between 1 and 2, so you can see over the last few days, it's actually had only a few trades. With some really good consistency over the last all of these days. So no major fireworks, but you don't always want to. You don't actually want to be seeing fireworks because that can also open you up to taking too many trades. I didn't design this strategy to be like an ultimate scalping strategy. It is more for like a longer term, like a trading setup. So it's designed to take longer runs in price, which is often why you'll have a trade and then a switch over trade if it goes the wrong direction, and then the trades will run for the rest of the session. That often happens. So any trades on your guys' side yet still, or are we still on zero?
I
Zero
took
for
one.
me.
I'm up. What is it? $60.
Oh, okay.
I started mine some time ago and I haven't gotten into a trade yet.
All right. Okay,
But
so
I'm using
Mauricio,
the template you had for tomorrow, yesterday, because I was late getting on the call.
oh, okay, no problem. No problem. Okay, so I'll just monitor that in the background, and while that's not doing too much, I will jump on this chart. If it enters into position, I'll switch over to it. So let's do this. Let's remove the economic news. I'm going to pop on this 5-minute chart. I'm actually going to put on the shadow trading indicator. So let's have a look at that. So, so shadow trading. Yeah, I'll just monitor that. I can see that if it enters a position, I'll see the lines on the side. Okay, so with the shadow trading indicator, you're going to notice it's going to paint these arrows, the momentum line. So at the moment, the momentum line is below the price, but we have had very wild bars, obviously being the open. But generally, what you're going to see is that the coloring of the bars, yellow and gold, not as good to see on like a 5-minute chart. For interest sakes, let's have a look at the longer term charts. Are definitely going to show you, the price very, very nicely, even on the shadow trading. So there's like a daily chart as an example. Okay, I'll take the fib levels off. Okay. So looking at a daily chart, obviously this is a lot more information, but it's providing really, really powerful signals. So it was showing us a major oversold situation on this bar over here. And this was back on the 5th So from there, we still had a bit of gold bars, and then we actually had a day close out in the green, and it's basically been, going up since then. So that's on like a longer term chart. You're going to notice that these are going to be, giving these signals. So this is a very similar thing to what happened earlier, like, a few months ago. This was May. So also like an oversold situation over there, and then it came up, started seeing green bars going up, getting divergence on top, some, sell, and then up again. So it's incredible how this actually works. So with the momentum line, what you're wanting to see is you're wanting to see that momentum line deviate very far from price to give you the signals to sell. So it definitely happened over here at this part over here, but it basically continued up. So there was obviously a very huge push going up in price, but ultimately it's the trend tied out, and there we go. We started seeing gold bars. It was a huge push down that whole time. And there we are now. So looking at a smaller term chart. So if we go to like let's go to a DTB bars chart. So if we go look at actually I won't go DTB bars. Let's go to a 22 and a 22 chart. So this is where you're going to see the crossovers of the momentum line and the price. So on our last signal over there, we had gold bars, momentum line is below the price. We started seeing divergences over there. Momentum line crossed over the price. We started seeing arrows over here, telling us this price was likely to be reversed. Then we started seeing green bars, which means the buyers are taking control of the price, and then it just went up. And now we've got a divergence arrow on top over here. Momentum line is still with the price and actually a bit above the price. So that is not showing like right now to be, a definite down signal, because the momentum line is still above the price. So a good thing to do with this tool is to go on even market replay, and you can watch it in action. You can actually watch the indicator painted signals, and you'll see how, how these signals work, how they're painted. And remember where the momentum line is on the far right of the chart, and what's happening on the far right, that's how it is in real time. So as you're watching that, you can definitely pick up signals from there. You can change to a few different data series too. So I like to look at like a trending baseline approach, so like a 2266, and that's going to give you a 22 trend with a 66 reversal. So you see that type of thing happen. We had this, obviously this very huge push up earlier where the momentum line was above price the whole time. Bars were staying green. Okay. And that was that. Okay, so what have we got? We've got one trade. Okay, so we've got one trade on this chart. It actually was a buy signal over there. So why? Let's just see what that looks like on this chart. Okay, so we've got a situation here. We've got some green bars. We've had a few gold bars, but then we've had the momentum line shift. Some more green bars. We're currently in a green bar right now, but if this closes down, this bar will go gold. Then we're probably going to see a run down. But if this bar closes green and this momentum line keeps facing up, it'll be good. But we've kind of hit a brick wall over here. So not looking good for this initial signal at this very moment. The momentum line has lifted up from its low. So you can see over here, it is much lower than where it is right now. So that could tell me that this price is more than likely still got a bit of upwards momentum to go. Just because that momentum line is also facing up. So as soon as that momentum line, changes direction facing upwards, the price is more likely to be going up. It's when this momentum line is facing down straight like this, the price is more likely to be coming down. As soon as it changes direction like that, if you're in a short, I would be out of that short until a better signal comes into place. And so right now, this is facing up very nicely. So we're very likely to get this target hit. You can just see how this momentum line is facing up. So that's a good thing to see if you're in a long position. Not a good thing to see if you're in a short position. So as we're seeing more gold bars, more green bars now, that means the buyers are in control of the price. And there was our first target. So work according to the coloring of the bars. So remember, this is 22 ticks. Each of these little bars here is 22 ticks, and each bar going up is 66 ticks. So it's a decent chart to even get some scalping position. So when you're seeing bars green, it's a very high chance the price is going to go up. If you're seeing a gold bar, it's a very likely chance the price is going to come down. Green bars up. And remember, each of these bars is 22 ticks. So even if you're just chasing a very small target and you're seeing this momentum line facing up, you don't have to be too afraid to go for a long position in that situation. Because this momentum line is often a very, very good indicator of what momentum that is in, even though it's below the price on here. In fact, if you've got the data series on center price on scale, so this is the other way to look at this indicator, is when the price is on center price on scale and the momentum line is way above it, that's also going to be like a magnet for the price. It's going to flick below. So if you notice the momentum line on here, let me just get to the beginning of the chart. So there's a few ways of trading this indicator. And one of them is like this. Okay, so while the momentum bar is above the price, you want to be in a long position. So let's go all the way back to these cells. So this is where the price was bouncing around. Now you're going to notice when the price is in a bit of a range like this, you're going to have the price flicking to above and below the momentum line. So have a notice. So that's why I've colored the bars just to make it a lot simpler too. So while the momentum line is below the price, you're going to have gold bars. As soon as the momentum line flicks above the price, that is confirming a buy signal, but it's only when it's really above the price, that's when it's really confirming that strong long signal. They've switched over to the green. Okay, so now it's well and truly above the price. And if you're in a long position, you can stay in that position all the way until that crosses over price. So what time was this? This was the 18th at 9, basically the 18th at 9:40 or so. So if you look at the move of this price, so even though we had some divergences, we've got a very, very strong move in price. This momentum line is so high above price. So yeah, you would have had a few losing positions, yeah, if you were going, strictly according to that, but only when that momentum line really flicked above price, which I think was about the 4th or 5th bar over there, is that continuing on all this way. So it's still staying above. You got your divergences. Momentum line is still above, and it's only at this stage over here where you're looking at, okay, so now the momentum line is crossing over. You're watching what it's doing. Okay, definitely out at this stage. Bam. So that's 800 odd ticks. Okay, but that goes over 2 days. So it doesn't, very few people will be in a position like that. But not to worry, I've also got a automated strategy coming for this indicator. So it's currently in production at the moment. It's going to work off, you're going to be able to choose how many bars, after how many gold bars must it sell, after how many green bars must it buy. So that's what I'm also doing now. So like over here again, you're going to have a situation where you're going to see the price flick above like that. You see the momentum line is above, but now it's kind of a drop below again. And that's where we are right now. So you will have a little bit of situations where you'll be taken out of positions. But the good thing about that is when you do catch, you'll be caught out a little bit in situations like this. But when you do catch these long runs of price with that momentum line very far away from the price, you can actually get some very long running positions and stay in them for quite a long period of time. Now, even if you stay in those positions up until you get multiple divergences and the momentum line coming a lot closer to price. So there's definitely incredible opportunities with this tool in particular. And that's just, that's just looking at, at the shadow trading. You've also got your option to be able to optimize your brick wall indicator. So the 22, this bar size that we're using, 2266, you can even put that through the strategy analyzer like we're doing for the analytical strategy, because this SI indicator is the one we're using in the strategy. So even if you're applying this indicator to a chart, I'm just going to apply the default settings, which is 4.4. I don't know what that's going to look like. I probably won't paint anything. Okay, it did paint a little bit. So this is also going to provide you brick walls of support and resistance. So there it provided a sell coming down. And then over here, it came and tested it, and then it broke through. So even if you're using a brick wall setup, waiting for a confirmation of a move, that is what you can be using too. And then you can apply a few of those to the chart. You've also got the ATR, which is a really cool indicator to work with. Let me just bring that up. Not to mention the breakout box. I mean, there's so many really awesome tools in this toolbox to use, and all of these have incredible benefits looking at the chart. Let me just pop them on and just see what this is looking like. So this indicator you're looking at, Jay, with these lines, that is basically an auto Fibonacci auto trend indicator. So it's going to pick up on your chart what is the current trend, what's happening on there. Now, unfortunately, with the ATR, it's showing dollar signs and pound signs. It's got something to do with NinjaTrader. There was some setting I had to disable. So if I just go into the indicators and I remove those, on the ATR, so I just go and choose the arrow, because they're supposed to be arrows. I don't know why the hell NinjaTrader is giving me problems with this, but I'm just going to make arrow size 1 and 1, and that'll take away those arrows. But this auto Fibonacci auto trend is basically going to draw a trend channel based on where currently the price is bouncing off, and then it's going to draw a Fibonacci level in that area. So that is pretty cool, and it's going to adjust according to how that moves. So looking at this, I might just change something here. Just give me 1 second, just to make it a little bit easier to see what's going on. Okay. Goodness gracious. Sorry, it's a bit tricky. I thought I increased the margin there. I made it 18. Okay, so instead of 180. So you've also got your average true range, which is going to give you this basically these dots to tell you how many ticks away the price is from that. I will remove this one indicator for now because you've really got to spend a bit of time with the auto Fibonacci order trend. You've got to give it a deviation value, and that is different according to every bar size that you're working with. So a bit of playing around with that one to get that right. But let's just have a look at these. So this is with the shadow trading and the SI indicator, the brick wall, as well as the breakout box. So these breakout boxes are going to appear on the chart at the close of the bar after the breakout. So if you notice okay, this green box, it'll be on the next bar. So this bar over here, the following bar. So I'll just make a circle around it or a little line on it. 1 second. Alt and Q. Okay. So this one, as an example, so that you can see that appeared there. This gold, this pink breakout box appeared on this bar over here. The green one is going to appear on this bar over here. So it is a little bit after the fact, but if the last breakout box is green, you can be looking for long opportunities that whole time. If it's gold, if it's pink, you can be looking at short opportunities, and especially if the bars are gold, because then you know the price is in seller's territory. So as soon as you have a breakout box and you've got gold bars, you know there's a very high chance that this price is going to come down because the price is in seller's territory and you've got a pink breakout box as well as the average true range flicking directions. So there's a few things you can look at. And the good thing about these boxes too, wherever they plot and they appear, that's where they're going to stay. They're not going to repaint afterwards. They're going to basically stay where they worked. Okay, so what are we seeing over here? Okay, so still nothing exciting on these charts. We've kind of been stuck in this one zone, which is in buyer's territory, and there's been no signal since the open today. So a bit unlike the other day where we had, if I go back to yesterday as an example. So yesterday, this is what the price was doing. It was basically around a brick wall. So that's why we had a sell over there. Then we had a buy over there, and then it ran all the way to session close. So during this session, we are basically up in this area now where it is just the green zone. There's been no brick wall signals in here. So that's why we haven't had a trade on this specific chart. This one over here, it did form a brick wall. Okay, so if you're looking at this, it took this position over here. Now, if we go into the strategies, you're going to see that not all of the repaint. So on this strategy, we've only got the first signal. So you see that the first box is ticked. So it's not going to act on the second, not going to act on the third, and not going to act on the extra. So that's why you're not seeing another trade below here, even though that would have been profitable, entering a sell over there, hitting a target. But no, so that one has not entered another position. We've got a few, and it's 10 o'clock right now. So, okay, so that was it actually. Nothing exciting happened during our session today, unfortunately, guys. So we only had this one trade today, which brought us 156. So one position. How did you guys go on your trades?
Mine still static at up 60. Well, it just took one.
Okay.
Now, so Jason, just to ask on that, so the every time it crosses the brick wall is when it generates a signal, and that's equivalent to one repaint.
Yes, so you're gonna get a switch over. Now, often it's not going to act on every single one. So there's a few things that have to come into play. There's a few things that have to be in play, but on this one, it's definitely crossing over the brick wall. But there also has to have a few other things, including time and sales and average true range. There's a few things that have to also be in sequence for it to take a signal.
Okay. But the signal happens at
the brick wall.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Always at the brick wall. So if you look at any of the previous signals on here, you're going to see they're always going to happen at a brick wall. So like over here. So notice over here, we actually had a long running position. Look, there was a long losing position over there. And that can happen sometimes. It all depends what happens around these brick walls. So that was a little bit of a bummer, that one.
Okay.
But like over here, you'll see, there you had a sell, there you had a buy. We did not have a sell over here, and it basically took profit over there. It didn't, and then it was end of the session. So
okay,
yeah, and that's what you're going to notice all the time. So you're not going to see the trades acting every single time. Like even over there, it entered a buy over there, but didn't enter a sell.
Got it. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, I paused my strategy when it hit $200 red, but I've managed to just trade off the brick walls manually put myself back in the green.
Okay, nice. So you just use the one of the indicator to look at that.
Yeah, it came through the brick wall on the 16.16. I just took it short and managed to put myself 86 green. So that's 300 and something bucks for the 200 loss as well. So
okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, we didn't have a very eventful session, but at least yeah, we got to learn a little bit more about the indicators too and the tools. So even if you guys took some manual positions, like we were watching this as it was happening, and there's definitely scalping opportunities all over the place when you're combining these tools. Great. Okay, we'll do another session tomorrow night. It'll be the last of the week. So to Wednesday morning, and I shall see you guys on the call then.
Thanks, Jason.
Okay.
thanks, Jason. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Chat to you then. Bye-bye.